Abusunya mema aha ema akwaba Adepa Green TV so emredu se de omai mafoforo mu nsem ayaboaboa no se mufo nso ajebre asemu se green kase no kase mu no nsem bi abeti ebi ensem nyamfo kojo Oppong Nkrumah e de ababetu dwa se eyiye ya ye de ehihye so mpenda da John Rawlings eyiye no ade agana fo bebre na nsese mutumi eba ho na mumu no mobekọ motentem afiefie mu na abaftetan video so metumi ahwebi ewo eho no mo esa sanso so no mpenda da John Rawlings enso na nsema hodo ya be de dia nyina di nyina so eba beso mpenda da John Dramani Mahama enso e de ababetu dwa se ada Cecilia na so mutumi ehwe na nyama pa bia mpenda da John Dram otumi editu edwa ema bibia etumi ekonkan no ni nyina so entumi enkoyie ewo ehon musa Supreme Court nso enen so ma betena se ena mabato ho sensem ye babaye deja ewo oman Ghana mu hase wei enensem na vo pameso se ewia prem to break ase ewo Green TV so okọ Facebook Green TV Ghana okọ like share deja comment kama na ese bibia nso entumi enkonkan emfa emma ye obutantim na Abena Adepa enmidin afejebre na makase ni chechiremu ankasa. Abusunya mesanso ema akwaba biem Adepa Green TV so ewia prem to break kase eso me kase na say de ama wo dia information minister ya ne din enumnyam fokojo Oppong Nkrumah de ababetu dwa se sina coronavirus no eguso cheche ni hyiemu ewo man Ghana ho se nyina ye hwe ne mu se betumi aboa se ne bia coronavirus ni nyina ase betumi tu se hu ewo man Ghana se nti no eye ya eda ye ni mo mpenda da John Rawlings eye no enya de nya benya akonya no etumi akoho akwakohwe bie na mom no ye fie mu na ye fun so nyina betumi enya akonya no etumi ahwe bi o ni nyina nti empese coronavirus yi ebeteche ni hyiemu ewo oman Ghana mu hase.
Just to remind you, the final funeral rites for former President Rawlings are ongoing, but you don't need to be there in person. You can follow it virtually on television and on online platforms. A number of heads of delegations or heads of state have also confirmed that they'll be participating. Let me just highlight a few of them for you. His Excellency George Weah, President of Liberia, His Excellency Julius Madabio, President of the Republic of Sierra Leone, His Excellency Dr. Mamadou Tangara, Minister of Foreign Affairs from Gambia, His Excellency Jean-Claude Gakoso from Congo-Brazzaville, Minister of Foreign Affairs from Congo-Brazzaville. He'll be leading the Congolese delegation. Dr. Mohamed Ibn Chamba, Special Representative of the Secretary General and head of the UN office in West Africa. The ECOWAS Commission is sending a delegation. Equatorial Guinea is also sending a delegation led by their first Prime Minister, I understand. Nigeria is sending a delegation led by His Excellency Jeffrey Onyema. He's leading a 5-person delegation, and we'll share some more updates with you as we go along. If you have to be there, please cooperate with security and other arrangements. Where you are informed of COVID protocols to observe, please observe it to the letter. And particularly for our colleagues in the media, the request of the family's wishes are that no cameras in the inner perimeter. The foundation is working to provide feed to the media at the media village. Please tap into that feed. I think many of you are doing it this morning. Please don't try to go in there with your camera for security to accost you, and then we have another problem of journalists being heckled or attacked at a program like. I beg of you, let's respect the families.
Omampanyida da John Dramani Mahama de ababetu dwa se endi samanyoko ni nyina omonka omoho embomu se ne be anyama hodo betumi akonkan de amomo esanso omampanyida da John Rawlings emra oti ase no otumi eye nyama hodo bebe na de boa NDC amanyoko nto munyina nka ombomu enye adwuma se ne be omeje dimpa de ato ho de ma na bebi ko wo bia no ono kasebe hu ampa oja na chi no omo etumi atoto enyema yie de amano.
It's been a very interesting lecture. Often you attend memorial lectures and there's one boring speaker after another. But for everybody who has spoken here, they've taken us down memory lane, they've done analysis, and I think that we'll all leave here very satisfied that this has been a very interesting experience. The task was for the speakers who were selected to talk to the theme and also do a few reminiscences about our late founder. Mine is just to give remarks, and I'll just concentrate on two main areas. Now that President Rawlings is no more, a lot will be said and written about him by the people who knew him intimately and worked with him. And I think that this should be encouraged, that we document his life and works for those of us who worked with him as we remember it. So now that he's gone, one of the things we can do is to tell his story for generations yet unborn by documenting the events and incidents of his life, especially for those of us who witnessed them. And I want to say, for those who worked with him from the very beginning, this is a time for you to put down your memories about the period. And it doesn't matter what your memories are. We know the proverbial story of the elephant and the six blind men who were asked to describe the elephant. And everybody described it from where he was able to touch. And so the one who touched the leg said it was like a tree. The one who touched the trunk said it was like a snake. I mean, you remember when we were young, that description. Rawlings was that big a personality, and everybody would remember him from the viewpoints that he interacted with him. And so we shouldn't have a problem documenting the period so that his place in the history of this country would be read by generations yet unborn. We might differ in our memories of events, but that should not deter us from documenting those memories. Already, some books exist in the past documenting some aspects of the Rawlings era. I remember Zaya Yebo's book is there, documenting the revolution and what happened in those early days. We have Michael J., who passed away recently, may his soul rest in peace, who wrote Death and Pain in Rawlings, Ghana. You remember that one? And even our speaker, who just left the chair, wrote his book on politics in Ghana. They say the story, until the lion has his own historian, the story of the hunt will always glorify the hunter. And so unless us progressives and members of the party have our own historian, the story of the revolution and our period in government will be told by other people for us.
About one Sammy Abena ewo oman Ghana ma say we chino kopie mu ewo Supreme Court ewo oman Ghana ma say won krampumantem ha say no e da isi Supreme Court for e da babetu dwase ne dai o mesan so atena se na asem no omo asan so ebomu enchemu ebiemu na so metumi atwene sere ne abasa se ne be ya adehye no betumi enyomo ho enti ase sense go bebe na eno mu ehwe ni misa bato no kwatwodo ebetumi adadi. Abato ho nsensem Abena ewo oman Ghana mu ha say ye no nam so ekokopie mu ewo Supreme Court ye wo oman Ghana mu ha say no ya de ne den penifo e de ababetu dwase Nyankopon ayadom amache se da foforo asanso abetu ye de a ene na ene anopeya omo ebesanso atenase na eho ensensem no omasanso atwene sere ne abasa no matumi ahwe amanso mapa etumi aba enu no mde tu dwa biam so say ayade mampenda da John Dramani Mahama Adepa tu dwa asisi na nyama esifa koye e wabatorim na kama yesi eni na ndi ni yie enu ntu asa na nyama hodo Adepa yesi nsema hodo no osomutumi adibisa abato komisan enu mu na lawyer fo na judgefo ye gu ono mo etumi bo bebre na etumi aditugu ye na mum no mo ma adwen se mo koye nsem nim nhwehwemu na omatumi ahwe se na bia bibia so ebetumi akoyie ede amomo enu mu biem na omampani kasamafo edma omampani na nado dankwa akufo ado nmunyafo kojo Oppong Nkrumah edbetu dwase se na nyama esifa ekono kama yes NDC amanyoko na mampenda da John Dramani Mahama entumi anhwe na nyama ahodo yo omoye de se na musifa etoto munyama no enya ade achese ebetumi akoyie ade mo krampo se no muhunu ase ade no eyemwanwa so mampenda da John Dramani Mahama etumi beka esa nsemi ewo eye court hono esa Melo mokasa kwa wi na tu dwa sabato komisan so so no so nhisha hodo ne document hodo nyina no omo etumi eba hono ma omo tumi hwemu na ese bibia so etumi akonkan na de Supreme Court mpanyufo nyala kwa akotena se na sa ensem na bato ho nsem no omo etumi abobo mu masumde mapa etumi aba omanga ne mu hasei Abatu komisan Mami Jane Mensa ede ababetu dwase shahodo ye koso e Supreme Court no na o senka NDC amanyoko no moniama hodo no monkrata hodo yo mbedan court no o se ni nyina mu no omutumi enyamu enchiemu enne nam so ma Supreme Court san nsem ne so ehun se nsem no esifa ekọ ne de e so mankasa eyemu enhwehwemu ansana omo ede mu nsem no ababetu dwa na nche bia na mpenda da John Dramani Mahama edbetu dwase e kama se ne nsem pole dumienu no na nko hwe ne mu se court betumi ebisa eye Mami Jane Mensa nenso no wantumi ambise mu amfanto no da bebetu dwasa wohwemu a nhye bi wo ha na sensem ni bo ho a o se mu anchemu ankasa no omutumi yemu anhwehwemu Abato komisan ede ababetu dwase abato ya yekotu yei ewo December bosune da ye toso enson ewo mfimpinu ni eduonu emu no ada sese ho sensem akwedeja ewo Supreme Court a omo etwene esre ni abasana ne nsem mu ye odi tu dwa enyina ne se kama esen ye hwahodo ne nyama hodo ye o se omampenda da John Dramani Mahama etumi ebedan Supreme Court no yade asesi ane de mpanyifo ebotugu ye esanse ne nyina mu no na omo eye emu enhwehwemu ewo ho no esa na nhihya hodo ya ode eba ne nyina ne sa bato ya yetuye kamera so muntumi ni endi ni yie eno enenam so mechese Supreme Court etumi kopie mu ewo mu enu mu na Mami Jane Mensa ono na chesa bato komisan ode ababetu dwase nsma hodo ya otumu so mpenda da John Dramani Mahama ede tudwa ede momo no kamera yese emu eni enyina so biara enu tina nam so amachese court ehye yese omunhwe no munye sa ensem enhwehwemu na momu no on de ebesi nei nkrofo inform ne makodo no enye nkade ahodo a osumutumi edigina so momutumi eye ensem no enhwehwemu na so ndo hwe abato ni mu bibia aye krojin ya chese bibia etumi egina so esanso no de no kra nkwa na chese otumi editu dwa e ho no sa ebo aye ma abato no etumi enya no ntuma pa edifry tese des NDC amanyoko no anaso mpeni dada John Dramani Mahama ekeka se ayade matumi ewia no ho no edia mpenifo nso eguso eyemu hwehwemu tinkrata aya wo se omutumi edeba ma mpenifo etumi yemu hwehwemu no oso mutumi ehwe na ni nyina so omutumi deba ewa no Pressure group Occupy Ghana for Edensma Hudobi Ababetudra Edet Chair Aban say onhwe na enyema ntotoye omu entumi enye ni nyina enam coronavirus ho ensensem ya babedeja ewo man Ghana ma say no omo ede Ababetudra say onfata bono kese pa entumi ento Ghana for so senhye de ahodo na ne party o ne ekwa club na ade ni nyina no also otumi de tabono eto Ghana for so enye sa de man Ghana ye beda asori no na se coronavirus na fa ye nyina edeko
Enamenusu ama pressure group Occupy Ghana for ediato aban ne mpanyufo anim se wo monhwe na tabna hodo wo monfanto nhyiamudi a omanfo etumi anasa wotaye ewo COVID-19 bere mesanse kamese nunam so enema COVID-19 no eguso a ekonanim nanuwa mu ene wosanso eto a wo monsem se de tabnu tutu nhyiamudi bia tete sa so a ebetumi aboa ama COVID-19 adane danyine ebesori na akonanim no esu ebetumi ate na chese nipa dodo wo muguso a ehwe wo nkwa na ebimusu guso a enya yawe bi no esu ebetumi ate
Director General Edema Ghana Health Service ya nidin ene Dr. Patrick Kuma Abuaje ede ababetudwa se oman Ghana yahwese na coronavirus no esifa ema ne hunu so na ne mahodro entumi enkoyie e wo man Ghana maze ya de ani achemu e Kutuka International Airport hono na nka ohwemu na dodo mu etumi efi Adepa na so mantima hodro de na nka ne nyina etumi abrase e hono na mo hwe atoto nyeme yie ma yie etumi atoyie na oman Ghana so etumi ahwe ama chese coronavirus no ase etumi etu.
Even though we have not demonstrated the variant, the new variant, that's the South African and the UK one, within our community self, which we are still doing, as you know, when we isolated people at the airport who tested positive, we found cases of the UK variant and a case of the South African variant amongst them. The chances are that we may have them, and that may be responsible for the increasing number of spread, but the search will continue to see whether we actually have a community presence of the variant in this country. And we looked at maybe it's a variant that has come to the whole of the West Coast that is actually spreading, especially if you see the number coming from Nigeria into the country and other parts of the world where we have the variants. Increase the number of tests conducted by the lab has also, because of the response, definitely we need to continue doing the more tests, identify most positive and look at isolating them. Obviously, the non-adherence to the protocol is a major challenge. I'm sure when we've not done assessment, but we're going to start one this week. Ever since people started seeing the surge, I can see the mask wearing is improving. And increased number of positive travelers is also creating a problem as part of that. The non-adherence of safety protocols during parties and all other unauthorized places where people are not supposed to be is also part of the problem that we are facing. Obviously, people are also walking in to have a test, and there's unlinked to anything, so it takes a few days longer before they're identified and isolated. That's also creating part of the challenge that we're facing. So far, when it comes to the schools, we've only recorded, for the 1 week that the school has reopened, only 3 cases in the Upper West, 2 schools in Upper West, where a school that had to, I think there was a case that brought him from Burkina and infected, but these are all under control. We also have 1 case in Western region in Daboase. Otherwise, no region has reported any outbreak so far in the schools that has reopened. And that's quite, we hope it continues like that. Currently, we've strengthened contact tracing in Greater Accra. We are providing additional logistics. Further number of contact tracers have been traced so that we can actually mop up the surge that is coming up. We've placed data and surveillance officers at the private labs so that anybody who tests positive is immediately linked to care. We've intensified risk communication. Our team and Greater Accra team will meet in the GPRTU, market queens, etc., to be able to talk to them to ramp up the use of the protocols, adherence to the protocols.
Abusuan yamfa yani enchemu ewo edwedie ensemu dia Ghana Revenue Authority ya yetwamutua efromo GRA ede ababetudwa esenyama hodo ne tax ahodo yo muhwe animu semfimpinu ni eduanimu na emra na coronavirus emba na komo hwe animu sisi kombetumi enya ewo mu be 47.25% eno so mbetumi aye na emu no omo ahwe animu a ama sisi anyakopon ayadom ama adom bi ababedon sika hodo yo menya asanso enya so emfaso no edu 42.7 billion Ghana cedis a emfaso yo munya wo so 2.6 billion Ghana cedis yo mu ahwe mu sesan kenya coronavirus ya ankanyema ebetumi akwanimu ediamomo.
Ghana Revenue Authority ye chanitia efren GRA womu edi ababetudwa se womu target no etumi apa na se etumi akwakodu be se 42.7 billion ya enu tax revenue target womu sete wa afi impim nu eni edonu emu a enu afi a HM na emum ade asika no etumi abroso sa na de ababeto so 2.6 billion cedis enu emu eno wosanso edi tudwa se ade a target omo sete ye no wasa afi no na chesa afi impim nu eni edunu mu no enu 42.7 billion ya womu enya asika pudo be se 42.25 billion ni nyina ye COVID-19 sunsanso a etumi eba ye no nam so ena omonsa etumi kansa sikei na nuwa mu ena wosan so editu dwasa asoye no ensa ekan sika be se 45.338 billion ewosa afidada na emu afi impim nu eni edunu emu na eno so na wo mu asset target a ebetumi edu be se 42.7 billion enu nti wohwe mu pa de na chese honom no eya ade a enumpu ebru sika na nka wo mu ehwe anim no so na sa wo de call hanchichemu so ayo hanchichemu insia na chese ebru sa target a na nka wo mu hwe anim se ebetumi edu be so hanchichemu miensa echi po miensa na chese afini afibia efi be se infimpim nu ani dunkunu ekokopim infimpim nu ani adwunu mu sa digiti anasa percentage ena na wo mu ehwe anim na so eya ade a ekokobru so na chese ye negisem ede ma wo mu enu amu ena wasan so di tu dwa se asoya enu na ehwe sikasem so entutu yen so ede ba betu wo manim se wo mu target a anka wo hwe ye no ye fiscal year no anka obetumi enya sikafudo be se 47.25 billion ewosa afidada na emu na eno so be kwakoye be so hanchichemu enso echipo ensia na enu so wohwemu a na chese eye growth year on year na chese afini afibia mu sa target no anase digit bisa ena ya na wo mu ehwe anim na nso so enam covid-19 ene nioma hodoa eba besum ye anase eba bewu mu ewo man Ghana hanum sei no ntino next target no wo mote so edi kokodu be se 42.7 ena eno nam so a wo mu etumi nya asasi kampo a nanka wo mu hwe anim se wo mu benya no etumi ebru so edi mom
Yensan so afeni enchemu ewa hosepe kasemu ede a wonse videos ahodo bi ena chese enenam abefo ntentan fidie so ebia ne se enche bia ena nyumtini wagidin wo man Ghana ma say Joyce Blessing onani echemu ewa unity group a okwakoto nyomo ma chese bibia etumi akoyie ne Nyankopon esane ababehwe eye o man Ghana no nam so ena mra oto nyum na Cecilia Marfo ba obeji microphone edi fi ne nsam na nsma hodo ya na oka nyina ne se onsan so nko nachi enkonkofa ne kunu na Nyankopon so onfa saa message entumi ema no ho na emomu no bada Sammy ehu se na niam esifa ekono se dabi kamia yese Cecilia Marfo niam hodo yo peso aye nyina no ode se enyum to Nyankopon enyum anka so peso moto no kamia yese o se niam na mpo wo bibi mpo edema baba we ya anasa Joyce Blessing adenti wan fe na nkonche na emomu no ni pedomumu na chese oje microphone na sensima hodo na wo kan editia no
Oshe emfoni ahodoɔ anase videos a trende ɛwɔ social media ahodoɔ dodoɔ na so no obehunu sɛ Cecilia Marfo na wo him microphone ɛde afiri ɛyɛ dwontini baba yɛ ne din ɛne ɛyɛ Joyce Blessing ensem ɛwɔ brɛko a na wo gina ɛyɛ simpie ne apaso na bɔ no mo yɛ end of year Thanksgiving service ɛde ma ɛyɛ unity group no ɛwɔ mfiampenu ɛne aduonu baako yi emu na obrɛko a wo gye microphone no mu nyina etimi ɛde wie no no ne nsɛm ahodoɔ yi woka ediche aya Joyce Blessing ne se wansanko no ne kunu enkonkon kambo masi okunu ene oyere efrese enumu ene otwedi ampo Nyankopon ahweso ede ahira no eye na ware no ene ahweso pa atimi ede ahira no ewo na sanse me beto monten so no ewo social media so ewo mro no so ewo yefiafia hudo mu omanfo dodo na ka ho nsem ye dodo na condemn anamuntu ya juntini aya Cecilia Marfo etimi etuye ewo nanso ewo sa nsem no so ewo yakasafoni anase radio stations ahodo so brother Sammy ebegina simpie so edebetu dwa kire se Cecilia Marfo ankasa mu no wada na di pefe pa no wakire ehunu se ase a strategic agenda bi or yafa kwati kwan bi so na gospel music industry no wetimi ahwe amana gupa eho enunti ena wo ye ayesa na muntu anase ne nneema ahodo ya wo ye eho ochese obebisa Cecilia Marfo asema bisa ne se awadesem no ayade ye ka no kokwa mu anase eyebedwamu ene ye ka awadesem ochese efri bra Joyce Blessing na wadesem ebabetu odwane mu no enya de a maami Cecilia Marfo
abusuan yɛfo yɛ ni enchemu ɛwɔ obi maso yɛ ni echemu ɛwɔ Somalia man no emu a ene ɛna kyerɛsɛ ɛyɛ polepole aduasa eni mfinhye aduasa yɛ adanda nyabo nsentokwa etumi esi ɛwɔ hɔ no mo ɛno mpanyifo da betu dwasɛ ɔmo de kaka mo nkrɔfo bebre adehye bebre yɛ kyerɛsɛ ɔmo tumi ahwe ɔmo ɛwɔ Somalia man no emu
Tawdi wani echemu ewo Somalia man no emu a manebo efi ho eba enyina ne se wei ene infia etoso poripori eduasa ya wo mu enya menteme ho ase e wo Somalia man ni mu na menu so ama nipa dodo na ahwe wo mu nkwa na ebi mu nso so etumi eprepra e wo honom na wo mu esan so eto aso se wei e bra na wo mu mampanyi Siad Barry na chese e wo January 1991 mu e na wo mu settle Somalia se wo mu enti omo ho ase ene sa amanyosem ahodo e wo ho no wo mu hwe eye ntutu ya nka betumi aboa nanso efi sa abre no anase afia eto aso wo honom no ade a federal government no nso efi ase se wo mu ehwe se impuntu ebeba na Islamist militant ahodo nso so wo ho no wo mu ebepiepie omo de omo hye major towns ahodo se ne be ya anka enkabom ebetumi aba na enuwa mu ena Andrew Harden ya wono ena ye Africa correspondent ono nso edi atudwa se kamia ese ade a mentime ho ase bi ehhehye mu wo Somalia man mu be se emfi makomako aduonu emu ena tetesa ensem yi etumi epiepie wo honom na wo mu ehhwe se obetumi ahye na asumdwe nso ebetumi aba se ne be ya debia entokwa eni modehwegu a eya esi wo Somalia man ni mu no wo mu ebetumi ejai
Abusia ya sanso eto aso biem ede ema ode a US Mexico border na chese se amako hu nkrofo bi a omo etumi ahye se drebe nipa polepole be yese du enkron na chese omo tumi ahye e ho no ena mpanyufo de abetu dwese omo guso a yesa ensem na hwehwemu esanso so mo hu de esiye ansa na jawe etumi ahye omo
Ewa share so no aposifo ehunu eye ehyemienu ya na enipa egumu ya yetwa japa atime ade ato eye safo no emu na amane ne ekire se omanfo ahodo ya enum enubane se yen anase ahabande hye anase kokenyi bi wotwe ewo sa bia ho no mo ye wo breku a omanfo dodo na ya wonum eye kwantufo se wofiri wonum aso de wonani akire obi manso akwakope ba papa wode wone bra anase wode wonu kuku no kaka ebesi abobra ni mu no na safo no atimi ade wonani pa ese prefa ne titiri no omanfo pese wode wonani kire mu ewo ye North America officials ahodo edeba betu dwa kire se wonu susu se safo no ye won ye kwantufo anase tukwatenafo ya wode wonani akire mu wo America man mu akwakobo bra no na woni eye enkrata ahodo na wode woni kire mu ewo North East state ni mu bia frene se eye Tampoli pasa dodo na edeba betu dwa kire se omanfo ahodo ya de bia mu no behunu se wo kumwom no won eyira no eye a eta akoso pa ewo ni titiri ene wonmo a eye nubone a wo pre eye ehye ewo bro no honom na ni nyina mu no Mexico aban ede ababeto dwa akire se wonum guso esai kon ewo wonmo a enum nubone na wodi enubone ho dwade ho se abeya obema abambofo nso atumi atu anamo na adikan mu okrampo no wone de wonsa etrentre abambofo so kire se enipa bi mu honom ya wone kire wom se one more edwane baba family kwanso no ye bewi akire ni mu no na asafo no wo hwe ne ba bi a enya ade a wono etimi ehuom na sesi ano wano ede ababetu dwa kire se saa amu yi dodo yi a wonum ko hu ye no eno eben eye bro no bi afre ne se Kamago eno ene US abrochima mu Texas borders no ana etimi di eye enemu
Abusia kase no asi na nsem bia mesomo ebi ene se onwanyamfo kojo Oppong Nkrumah ede ababetu dwa se eye ya ye da ni ma ye kama ma bibia so etumi akonkan ede ama oman Ghana no ewo se Cecilia ne ye nyina etumi tiate ye fie na se TV so ne etumi ehwe bi abefo tentan fidie so no ne etumi ahwehwe bibia ma ye so no yetumi hu se ne eye no esifa ekoye ewo sanso so ena Supreme Court ede ababetu dwa sa bato ho nsensem ye be deja ewo oman Ghana ho se ne dai omo esanso etena asem ne so biem ahwe adomu ko akwase ko inu kwana nkasa e de pema Ghana fon so etumi enyomo ho eye entiase e ho no sanso so na mpanifo e de baba tu dwa so man Ghana coronavirus no enkwanti enkoso a ne edidi nhihye ahodo so mde gu akwan mu se bia coronavirus no entumi entiache ni hyem ne nyina ye ntumi mmoa na ye mpam no emfemfi eye o man Ghana mu hase wei ene nsem na fo pembe so mo se ewia prem to bre kase e wo Green TV so uko Facebook am da sie papa ko so na like na share ne ja comment na ye nyina ye ntete ye hye na bibia so entumi enko nkan emfa emma yen obutan team na nabna Adepa enmidi ma da wase amammo enhwe makraw